If your check engine light is on and the scan tool shows P0335, stop before replacing sensors or tearing into the engine. This code sends a lot of people straight to unnecessary parts replacement because it sounds simple, but the real causes are often overlooked. P0335 means the engine computer is not receiving a valid signal from the crankshaft position sensor circuit. In simple terms, the ECU either can't see the crank signal at all, or the signal it sees doesn't make sense. Without a reliable crank signal, the engine cannot correctly control ignition timing or fuel injection. Many assume P0335 automatically means a bad crankshaft position sensor. That's one possibility, but it's far from the only one. The sensor may be fine while the signal is being lost or corrupted elsewhere in the circuit. To understand P0335, you need to understand the role of the crankshaft position sensor. This sensor tells the ECU exactly where the crankshaft is and how fast it is spinning. That information is critical. If the ECU loses this signal, the engine may not start, may stall unexpectedly, or may run extremely poorly. One of the most common causes of P0335 is wiring damage. The crank sensor is often mounted low on the engine, close to heat, oil, road debris, and moving components. Wires can become brittle, chafed, oil-soaked, or partially broken. A wire that looks fine on the outside can be broken internally and fail only when hot or vibrating. Connector issues are also very common. Corrosion, moisture intrusion, bent pins, loose terminals, or poor pin tension can interrupt the signal. Even a momentary signal loss can trigger P0335 and cause drivability issues. The sensor itself can fail, but not always in an obvious way. Some crank sensors fail only when they heat up. Others produce a weak or distorted signal that looks normal at idle but drops out at higher RPM. Replacing the sensor without testing may fix the issue by luck, but it's not proper diagnosis. Another overlooked cause is the reluctor wheel or tone ring. This is the toothed or notched wheel that the crank sensor reads. If the tone ring is damaged, cracked, missing teeth, or has excessive debris buildup, the sensor may not be able to read a clean signal. In some engines, a slipped or damaged reluctor can create intermittent P0335 faults that are extremely frustrating. Mechanical issues can also play a role. Excessive crankshaft end play, timing component problems, or internal engine damage can alter the relationship between the crankshaft and the sensor. These cases are less common, but they do happen and should not be ignored if basic checks pass. Live scan data is critical when diagnosing P0335. Watch engine RPM during cranking. If RPM stays at 0 while cranking, the ECU is not seeing a crank signal. That immediately points toward a sensor, wiring, or signal issue. If RPM appears briefly and then drops out, the problem may be intermittent. Freeze frame data can provide valuable clues. Look at engine temperature, vehicle speed, and operating conditions when the code was set. If P0335 occurs only when the engine is hot, heat-related sensor or wiring failure becomes much more likely. Before replacing anything, perform a thorough visual inspection. Follow the crank sensor wiring from the sensor to the ECU. Look for oil contamination, damaged insulation, loose connectors, or areas where the harness may rub against metal or moving parts. Electrical testing should come next. Verify reference voltage, ground integrity, and signal output according to manufacturer specifications. A missing reference voltage or poor ground can make a good sensor look bad. Signal testing can confirm whether the sensor is producing a consistent and clean output. It's also important to consider related codes. P0335 may appear alongside camshaft position sensor codes or misfire codes. Correlation between crank and cam signals is essential for proper engine operation, and a fault in one system can affect the other. The key takeaway is this: P0335 is a signal integrity problem, not a guaranteed parts failure. The ECU is telling you it cannot trust the crankshaft position information. Your job is to find out whether the problem is the sensor, the wiring, the connector, the tone ring, or something mechanical. Replacing parts without testing often leads to wasted money and the same problem returning. A systematic diagnostic approach saves time, prevents unnecessary repairs, and avoids replacing components that were never bad. Always diagnose first, understand the system, and fix the root cause. Taking the time to test properly saves money and prevents unnecessary repairs. Before replacing parts, check our channel for more diagnostic tips and real-world fixes. Fix Car Codes helps you understand the problem before you spend your money.